But I thought I might show you just kind of how I put together a quick, marinara kind of spaghetti sauce. It's a bit of a cheat, but for me it works, kind of really, really well. I have here Contadina tomato sauce. You can really use any good tomato sauce. I find that Contadina really, really works well. I have some tomato paste. I have some garlic cloves. I have a heavy pot here with some olive oil, and we're just going to get started here. See that? That's the germ of the garlic, right? And that actually can sometimes be hard to digest. So if we wanted to make this a little bit more, if you've ever had garlic and gotten heartburn or something like that, I think a trick I learned from Christine Cushing is to take out the germs. So let me show you how to do that. Grab some more garlic here. I always have garlic on hand. So we'll make the gastro-friendly version, and I'll show you a garlic trick while I'm at it. So again, 3 cloves is just about fine here. So again, what I do, here's the clove. I've just kind of popped it off put my knife flat hand, give it a pop, and it crushes. And then this is the root end. We're just gonna slice that off. And when we do that, if we keep our knife on everything, see how now we have a perfectly clean bit of garlic, and we can take a look at it. So the germ is right in the middle. I don't know if you can see that, but the germ is right there. So what you can do is you can actually take a knife, grab the germ, and pop it right out. All right, so there's the germ of the garlic gone, and that makes, there's the rest of the germ gone, and that makes our garlic a lot more, here's the root of the germ right there, digestible. So we'll just get rid of this, the germy garlic, we'll call it. We'll put that over here. And here's our germ-free garlic. And the germ, like I said, is just this is the root end, and then this is what sprouts and a new plant comes up. But the germ is the sort of the center thing that runs through. So again, we're gonna take it, give it a smack, slice off the root end. You can see the germ is right there in the middle. Paper's all gonna fall off, which is really great. And the other way to take the germ is we could cut into this garlic. For example, we could cut right into the middle, and you can see the germ. See it? Right there? Right there. So one thing we can do is just kind of pop our knife in and pop that germ right out. See how it separates away from the germ, and there's the germ right there. There you go. Again, same here. Get your fingers in there, separate it out, and the germ, the rest of it will come right away from the germ. See, there's the germ, and it's out. So now we have garlic that's a little bit more digestible, if you want to call it that. And again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line it all up. Get our knife glued to our fingers here. Keep our thumb and everything out of the way. And see the thinness we're getting there? That's what we're looking for. And this garlic will actually be a little bit more digestible than it would have been had we not removed that germ. So thank you to Christine Cushing for teaching me that trick. I actually tried it with a couple of different things, and it does make a difference. And again, I, for many years, didn't know that trick and used garlic, and it was just fine. But if you're sensitive, or you got people in your house that are kind of have sensitive stomachs or get heartburn a good bit, try the removing the germ trick. See if it works. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. And again, I'm not a big chunks of garlic in my sauce kind of dude. So we're good to go there. So that is ready to roll for us. And we're going to bring this over to our oil. And I'm just going to put this on about medium low. And all we're going to do is pop this right in. And again, we're making this sauce for a lasagna. Okay, so how quick was that? We got 3 cloves of garlic into our, and we're going to season just a little bit of salt, just a little bit of pepper. And I always like to use a wooden spoon to spread it out. So we're good to go there. We're only going to cook that for like 30 seconds. So we want to go right over to our sauce. Bring it over to the stove. Now, we can also, at this point, throw some herbs in. I'm going to do just a little bit of oregano, and you can see how carefully I measure this. Yep, that works. We're going to do a little bit of basil. We're going to do a little bit of thyme. It's good because that's all the time we have for today. Chef John would be proud. All right, I think that spice mixture is going to do. So again, what was that? Oregano, basil, a little bit of thyme. You can see our garlic starting to cook just a little bit there. As soon as you can start to smell garlic, it's sweated enough. This is just the sweat to get the garlic to start to release some of its oils. And you can see, get closer there, see the garlic's just starting to bubble a little bit in there. That's what we want. I'm starting to smell garlic a little bit. And you want to have your tomatoes ready to go. Well, you do not want to brown this garlic. Okay? Again, this is just a quick down and dirty sauce to get us into lasagna town a little bit more quickly. Okay? You also use this as a quick homemade sauce, and I'm going to show you some tricks to doctor this. I'm going to dump my sauce because my garlic was really starting to be fragrant and I didn't want it to burn, and this sauce cools it off immediately. So pretty much that's the cool part about this, all of our herbs and stuff are in there now, right? We're pretty much done with that part of it. We're going to do a little bit of seasoning. Okay, so now we have thyme, right? Nothing's going to burn on us. We just stir this together, and you're going to find that your olive oil and herbs sort of rise to the top and get around the sides. No big deal. Just take the time to stir them in. Okay, so we have the base of our sauce now. Now what I'm going to do is, what I know is it's wintertime, and the tomatoes that we're using were probably packed sometime in the fall, I would think. So they may not be as sweet as they could be. So I'm always going to taste for sweetness, and that's okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a touch of sugar. Just sort of to buy a little bit more sweetness from that tomato base. And I have to say that when I was in my 20s, I learned this recipe, including I use Contadina products typically. I could not find Contadina paste, and so I use Hunt's occasionally. But I tend to use Contadina. And this recipe came directly from a person I used to work with by the name of Nancy Smith at the Flanders Hotel in Ocean City, New Jersey. So Nancy Smith, if you're out there and you see this, thank you for 20, 30 years of food happiness after giving me this quick marinara recipe. I was just learning to cook at the time, and she was great. So all I've done is I've added a little bit of sugar. We've got our herbs in there. This is pretty much ready to start our simmer, okay? But we do need to add our tomato paste. So we're gonna open this up real quick. And that's as quick as the sauce comes together. It is not hard. And once you get it down, so what did we do? We first took all the germ out of our garlic, 3 cloves of garlic. We chopped that up. We put some olive oil into a pot. I'm going to turn this down because I see the bubbles starting. We put some olive oil into the pot. Our garlic went in. We put that under medium-low heat, and we let that sweat for just a second. We put our herbs in, oregano, basil, thyme. That's it. I didn't measure those. Call it a tablespoon of oregano. Call it a teaspoon of thyme. Call it a teaspoon of basil, right? Those are kind of rough ratios you can work with, okay? We added a tiny touch of salt and pepper. We're just gonna add just a touch more salt and pepper in here right now. Remember that salt and pepper doesn't make things necessarily taste salty unless you add too much. They actually help things taste more like themselves. So you do wanna season as you go. It will amplify and highlight your flavors. One thing I was struck by is I heard, might have been Chef John on YouTube, and I've heard this from a number of other chefs, the difference between a good sauce and a great sauce is often a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So we want to season just sort of as we go, and we want to kind of have a light hand with it. So we're going to take our tomato paste. Careful with tomato paste and silicone spatulas, they can stain. You can see that this one has been through many, many tomato cans worth of. So this is my designated tomato can, tomato pasty, spoon-outery thing, okay? And I'm going to use this whole can of paste in here. Normally I would use one of the really small cans for a batch this big, but this is going to go into a lasagna, so I want a slightly thicker product. So I'm going to go ahead and use this whole thing. Tomato paste has been cooked longer, sort of like a, think about it as like a reduced tomato sauce in many ways. Okay, and you're gonna see, and you always want to stir, kind of most of the lumps out of this thing. You don't want to go crazy because they're gonna break down anyway with heat, but you do want to get a sense of what your texture is going to start to look like after a while. And this is going to thin a little bit as it cooks, but that's kind of the texture I'm looking for in my sauce. So that's about right. So we're pretty much done with one exception. And I told you I'd give you a trick for doctoring this, right? This is, I don't know how Italian this is. This is a very Italian-American sauce, gravy, let the debate begin. Now, I don't have any meat in here, so I'm going to say this ain't gravy. This is sauce. I do have friends that would yell at me about that, and that's fine. So I'm going to cover this just for a second so it doesn't splatter on us, and I will show you the trick. So everybody knows what this is. This is Parmigiano Reggiano. This is expensive stuff. Are we going to use this in our sauce? Well, yeah, because we're not heathens, right? So, but we're not going to use that. That's expensive stuff, and we're going to use that whole thing. But what is in my fridge here? Well, you're gonna discover that I have a ton of what look like rinds of cheese, right? There's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. See those dots? That is how you know that you have real Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, right? So this rind is just about rindy enough, and it is given all it can from a cheese perspective, I think. So what we're gonna do, and this is kind of where, you can see this, this is where the rind kind of ends and the cheese begins. So what we're gonna do is just take the rest of the life out of this cheese. Hi, buddy. Hi, pal. You saw Parm Reg come out, didn't you? You want a piece of this? Yeah, you do? Okay, buddy. Come on over here, I'll give you a piece. So my dogs know that I like to cook, and they also know that I use Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. And this one, Sully Boy, was I talking about you, Sully Boy? Has a nose for Parmigiano Reggiano cheese when he sees it come out. So he likes Parm Reg? Yes? You like it? Okay. You want some Parm Reg? How much do you want some? Can you do the Parm Reg bag? Parm Reg bag? Oh, that's a good girl. That's the Parm Reg beg, for those who aren't familiar with the art form. Hey, buddy. And Babes-a-loo, were you not done? All right. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna grate the rest of this cheese. Right into, and you're gonna know whether you're on the rind by the sound it makes, right? So again, all we have in here is garlic, a little bit of basil, a little bit of oregano, a little bit of thyme. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we're into rind here. It's pretty dry, okay? So I'm gonna stir this in. And then what are we gonna do with this rind? Well, here's the trick, boys and girls. Boop. There you go. That's gonna make this sauce taste amazing. And that's it. That's marinara sauce. We're gonna cover. And we're gonna stir that. Now remember, we have a little bit of sugar in there, we have a little bit of cheese in there now. So we have the potential to sort of have things burn on the bottom. That's why I've gone down to low. We're gonna let this simmer for, I don't know. I mean, if it simmered for 45 minutes, it'd be good. If it simmered for an hour, it'd be even better. If it simmered for an hour and a half, it'd be amazing. Simmer for as long as it takes. So there it is, marinara sauce. I'll show you what that looks like at the end. I'm gonna take a look at our marinara here. That's kind of where we want it to be. And I'm smelling as I take this lid off, and I like what I'm smelling. It's deep, rich, it's tomato-y, a little bit of garlic to it. We've got a little bit of sort of a roasted tomato scent now because these tomatoes have now had a chance to cook. See how the bottom's getting a little bit brown right there? That's good, that's what we want. We don't want black, but we do want a little bit of caramelization at the bottom. Is actually gonna deepen the flavor of this sauce in an incredible way. So if you find you're getting a little bit of brown on the bottom, don't panic, that's good, but scrape it back in so that it infuses the rest of the sauce. See the little brown pieces you can see? That's good, that's flavor. That's all good stuff. So we are right where we wanna be with that. So we